Here it is, the brand new Mercedes-Benz S-Class. This 7th generation S-Class promises to be the most advanced and luxurious S-Class to date. So to find that out, I dressed up as a bit of a chauffeur and invited my friend Bill here to pretend to be some sort of stockbroker-ish type of person that gets driven around in an S-Class. So let's find out just how comfortable it is. Let's go for a drive.
Hey, open the door.
So you have two powertrain options with the new S-Class. The S500, which is also a short wheelbase, gets an inline 6, or you can get the S580, which has a 4-liter bi-turbo V8, and that one is a long wheelbase. The S580 that I have here produces 496 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque, and it'll do the 0 to 100 km/h sprint in 4.4 seconds, according to Mercedes-Benz. This engine also has a little bit of help from the EQ Boost mild hybrid system. It's a 48 volts hybrid, but you can't drive it on electricity alone. It's mainly there for helping out the engine and also improving fuel economy a little bit. If you're just coasting and you're in eco mode, it'll actually shut off the engine. Of course, as soon as you put your foot down on the accelerator pedal or on the brake pedal hard enough, then it'll turn the engine right back up. Also, as you arrive at a stop, it'll actually shut off the engine before you come to a complete stop. This is also one of the most aerodynamic S-Class models to date, and the V8 engine is paired with a buttery smooth shifting 9-speed automatic that doesn't actually shift into 9th gear until you're doing about 110 kilometers an hour, or about 70 miles an hour. At that speed, the engine is turning over at just under 1500 RPMs. So all of these things add up to the S580 getting a fuel economy rating of 14.4 liters per 100 kilometers in a city. Not that great, but on a highway, it'll actually achieve 9.4 liters per 100 kilometers. Now, before all this snow started dumping here in Vancouver, I've actually been averaging around 11 liters per 100 kilometers. But ever since the snow came, I've been averaging closer to 14 liters per 100 kilometers because I've been letting it sit idle and just defrost the windshield. To drive this S-Class, that is if you are driving it yourself and didn't hire a chauffeur to drive you along, this new one is very nice and relaxing. The power is a nice surge, so you don't get that instant boost of the turbochargers. It's more of a gradual acceleration. Also, the air suspension, it can firm up when you switch it into Sport or Sport Plus modes, and it limits a lot more of the body roll. The S580 can also be equipped with rear wheel steering. There's a 4.5 degree and 10 degree option for a bit more money. The rear wheels turn in the opposite direction at slow speeds to improve the turning circle, but they turn in the same direction at higher speeds to improve stability. Unfortunately, this demo vehicle did not have this feature equipped. This car also has a very impressive stability control system. When it's fully engaged, it hardly allows for any slip even when the S-Class is on the slipperiest of roads. In ESC Sport mode, It will allow for some more rotation of the back end, but it'll still make sure that the car goes wherever you're pointing the steering wheel. I was very impressed by the system during the snowfall that we had here in Vancouver. My only small complaints about the whole driving dynamics of this new S-Class are with the brakes. Actually, specifically the brake pedal. See, when you push it just 10% or so, then you don't really feel it. Stepping on a balloon actually gives you more resistance. Of course, you do slow down even when you lightly apply the brakes, but you don't feel it in your foot. If you press it harder, then it does provide much more resistance. And this particular S580 has the Sport package, so it has 4-piston calipers on the front with drilled rotors. So the stopping force is tremendous under emergency situations, but it's just that first 5%, 10% that you don't feel the brake pedal. But overall, this car feels most at home on a highway. It is smooth, quiet, and stable at Autobahn speeds. On the comfort side, this new S-Class is the most comfortable car I've ever driven. The air suspension and adaptive dampers do a fabulous job of just ironing out and preventing you from really feeling the bumps and shunts of the road inside the cabin. You do feel them, so you're not completely disconnected from the road, but it is so comfortable in here. Also, I'm not sure if this microphone was able to pick it up, but it's also very quiet in here. Wind, road noise, and engine noise are pretty much non-existent. Of course, if you really put your foot down, then you will hear the V8 engine, but if you're just wafting along in the city or cruising down a highway, it's very quiet in here. Sitting inside the new Mercedes-Benz S-Class, space up here in the front is really no issue. Headroom, not a problem. Legroom, not a problem for my 6'4" height. As for the materials in the S-Class, it's exactly what you would expect from a six-figure vehicle. Soft Nappa leather on the seats, a little bit of leather on the steering wheel, leather on the dashboard, as well as on the center console. And they also have raised the carpets up pretty much all the way up to the surface of the center console. That way it doesn't show any ugly, hard plastics. Overall, very, very nice place to be in. However, there are a few things that I don't like about this interior. Firstly is the extensive use of capacitive buttons. So here on the center console, this is just one giant button apart from the hazard lights, and all the different controls are just haptic touch. The climate controls are now built into the infotainment system, which I personally don't really like. I'd much rather have physical buttons. There are also these type of buttons on the steering wheel, as well as the seat controls for the heated seat, ventilated seats, as well as the seat memory, and also the mirror adjustments. Personally, I think this just makes the S-Class feel a little bit more cheap than if it were just individual buttons, but that's just my opinion. As well, all of it is covered in gloss black, so dust and fingerprints are easily going to be shown. These seats themselves, they are very comfortable. As I just said, they are heated and ventilated, as well as massaging. And fun fact, they actually have 19 motors in them for various adjustments, the massaging feature, the ventilation feature, and so on. So even up here in the front, it is very comfortable. But it's the back where you really want to sit. So as I said earlier, this S580 is a long wheelbase. It only comes as a long wheelbase. And with this passenger seat pretty much the same position as my driving position, I have a lot of legroom. It feels like as though I'm in a crew cab pickup truck. Headroom is also very good. But in this passenger rear seat, I can have even more space because I can push this button and I can move the front passenger seat, provided there isn't anybody in there. And of course, tilt it forward as well. And then I can recline my seat. However, if you get the S-Class with the Premier Plus rear seat package, then you also get a little extendable footrest that comes from underneath the front passenger seat. And if you get it with the executive rear seat package, then this seat moves even more forward, my seat reclines even more, and you get a center console here with little tables that pop up and fold out, so it feels like as though you're in a business class jet. For the S-classes that don't have the executive package, like how this one doesn't have it, instead you get a little foldable center console with a tablet that you can remove and control different aspects of the car. It's not the type of tablet where you can just take out and check your email or play Angry Birds or whatever, but instead you just control the ambient lighting system or the massaging seats or the radio, for example. Other features on this center console include a little cell phone or pen holder right here, and then if you push it again, you have your cup holders. There's a little bit of storage here, excuse me sir, very shallow storage, as well as a couple of USB ports. You also have access to the trunk if you need to get something from the back, champagne maybe, I don't know. And of course you can fold it up and have a center seat. Although really this is pretty much a four-seater car. Other features in the back include power sunshades both on the side and in the back, and you have your own little moonroof. However, it doesn't open, but you do have your own separate shade from the front sunroof. And really that's about it for the back. It's just very, very comfortable, and this is really where you want to be when you're inside an S-Class. So how much does the Mercedes-Benz S580 cost? A lot is the answer, but it's not the most expensive Mercedes that you can buy. There's a Mercedes Maybach for that. But getting back to the price of the S580, it starts at $139,900 Canadian, with this demo vehicle being equipped to $166,000 Canadian. It's not fully loaded, so that price can be increased further. Due to the different package options between the United States and Canada, this demo vehicle would be similar to the executive line, but without the rear wheel steering system and rear entertainment package for around $136,000 American. As for gadgets, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class was always the first to feature them. It was the first to have ABS, electronic stability control, the first with adaptive cruise control, and night vision, among many other innovations. While it's difficult to continuously outdo oneself over the generations, the 2021 S-Class is packed with safety and convenience features. On the safety front, it features pre-safe impulse side, which can raise the car by 3 inches in 1/10 of a second if it detects an imminent side impact. However, this system is paired with the e-active body control that is not available on the 2021 model year. It will be for the 2022 model year. There are also airbags positioned in the back of the front seats for the rear passengers. A first, if I'm not mistaken. Other safety and driver aids include an enhanced lane centering system that can also aid in changing lanes. And should you get into a crash with the Mercedes S-Class, it can use the surround view cameras and forward-facing camera to take photos of the crash area. The S-Class is also equipped with the necessary sensors for semi-autonomous driving like Cadillac's Super Cruise system. It will make its debut first in Germany before being available to other countries and markets. These are just a few of the vastly long list of safety and driver aids that are standard or optional on the 2021 S-Class. As for convenience features, one of the biggest changes is with the updated second generation MBUX infotainment system. It looks similar to the previous generation, but it's less cluttered with submenus. It also has 50% more computing power than the previous generation, making it much faster to react to inputs. It is displayed on a 12.8-inch OLED display and can be controlled exclusively by the touchscreen or voice controls. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
Raise the temperature, please.
I'm increasing the temperature to 23 degrees.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other gadgets include a head-up display that can also show augmented reality navigation directions. There's a 3D effect driver display that can be optioned. All seats have multiple heating and ventilating settings, along with the front armrest also having a heating feature. And of course, if optioned, all seats can have up to 10 different massaging programs. Plus, there's a residual heating mode. When the engine is turned off and you're just waiting in the car for your client to finish their work, the climate can still provide a little bit of heat for the cabin. So in the end, the new Mercedes-Benz S-Class really is the most advanced and most luxurious S-Class to date. This is still the car that every other car gets measured against in terms of luxury and comfort. The engine and the EQ boost is really good. The cabin is very comfortable and so well isolated. And my favorite thing about the new S-Class is the ride. It is phenomenal. However, it's not all perfect because I really hate those touch-sensitive controls and the gloss black plastics. Unfortunately, I do know that all of these will trickle down into the E-Class and the C-Class and even the SUVs. But one thing that I really want to carry over to the other cars is this ride, because like I said, it is absolutely phenomenal. And if you want to know more about the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck, or most likely it'll probably be an SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.